Good evening, everyone. My name is Jordan Waters. I hope everyone's having a good start to their month of December. Of course, throughout this semester, we have been tasked with bringing forth a project to our practicum site. For me, this project has been a very interesting one as I actually work with Widener University. I'm currently under the title as a graduate assistant with the football program. So, as a graduate assistant, we of course do a lot of tidy work, a lot of data input, some Wawa runs, of course, coffee runs, of course. But we also work very closely with our student athletes as well. As someone who has been around the sport of football for a very long time, I understand the value of relationships within the locker room. I've, I've of course experienced and have been a part of the teams that develop cliques within the locker room, and the team is not necessarily a tight knit group. So, with that being said, as a graduate assistant, I came to my supervisor, Coach Nick Crow, just a week after our season had started, and came to him to develop a plan to enhance athletic performance by implementing team bonding. These exercises are performed to encourage, enhance, and develop relationships among student athletes. Developing and establishing such a cohesive unit among the student athletes gives them the ability to positively impact their overall performance by fostering a strong belief in one another. Football is the ultimate team game. It's extremely different from hockey or basketball, um, or of course any individual sports like wrestling or gymnastics or figure skating, um, as there are 11 individuals striving for one common goal during each and every play. And if at any point one of those individuals fail at their assignment, the whole team fails. Therefore, it is critical to a team's success to establish those relationships among their student athletes in order to build trust within the team and amongst each other. Initially, the plan was to incorporate and implement the use of team bonding exercises on a daily schedule for approximately 2 hours or so. But of course, throughout the season, our schedule becomes pretty hectic. As a result, we operated on more of a need-based scale, essentially applying our exercises throughout the season in times of adversity or during a bye week or even on Fridays, prior to our games on Saturdays and different things of that nature. However, throughout the introduction of the project and the interview that we had incorporated with our supervisor, I found that Coach Crowd was extremely positive and very on board with the idea, as he too had played football at the collegiate level and understood the importance of relationships. It became clear that the purpose of this project was to show the direct correlation between the importance of having a culture within our program and the success that our student athletes are able to experience with that. Incorporating such team bonding exercises has been demonstrated to foster stronger relationships, improve communication skills, and enhance trust amongst team members and student athletes. As a former Division III athlete myself, and of course being the younger coach that I am, I feel as if it was almost my duty to help establish that camaraderie between the guys and almost act as that bridge between the full-time coaches and the players themselves. With that being said, I met with Coach Crow every Monday to discuss any changes that may be necessary to the project, as well as discuss the proper time and best time to incorporate such exercises within our weekly schedule. We found that incorporating such activities would be best suited within our defensive subunits, which typically consist of anywhere between 15 to 20 student athletes. For myself, I work directly with the defensive line. For those who don't know, the defensive line acts as the first line of defense for any defense that is trying to stop an offense in the game of football. So, as a staff throughout the season and within our subunits, we will provide our student athletes with different exercises. Some more serious than others a little bit more fun to kind of lighten the mood. For instance, of course, I would ask some of my guys to come to the front of the classroom and provide the group with a joke. Other times, I would ask those guys and anyone that felt comfortable to come to the front of the classroom or wherever we may have been, and provide the group with their why and why they play football. At times, those conversations could be extremely tough, and extremely vulnerable for some individuals. But again, those types of conversations are critical for a football program as these young men continue to build their trust amongst each other and develop that camaraderie, not only on the field, but in life outside of football as well. So I did come to the realization that the majority of our exercises were extremely successful when I allowed the guys to develop their own exercises within our subunits, allowing them to essentially talk about whatever they may feel they would like to talk about that day and allow them to essentially lead the project in their own hands. However, my favorite project came from my own standards and expectations throughout the project. As I established the exercise in which underclassmen would meet with an upperclassman, and get to know each other. Um, and going into that next week, they would provide the subunit with essentially an elevator speech about that said individual that they got to get to know. I really did enjoy this task as it truly provided an opportunity for our guys to put themselves in someone else's shoes and really develop a deeper understanding for each other's personal interests, future ambitions, and of course, their family, siblings, and where they're coming from. So, with that being said, the majority of our tasks throughout this project were not necessarily physically demanding, nor did it call for any financial budget necessarily. I would say our largest necessity throughout this project would simply be more time spent with our student athletes. Of course, those guys are, some are working in co-ops and obviously have a busy class schedule as well. So time can be pretty scarce to cooperate and implement a lot of these exercises and activities we hope to incorporate throughout our week. Therefore, as a staff, we had to find other ways and use our time wisely to help establish a way to assess the importance of this project within our guys and amongst our players. As a result, we used our weekly Friday academic checks to help evaluate and accept and assess the project at hand. So essentially, every Friday, our guys would come down the shorts and complete an academic check, also known as a truth statement, to essentially evaluate and assess, again, the importance of the project to our guys. So this is an example of said form. Again, we also refer to these as a truth statement. We expect the guys to tell the truth again, with no penalty, especially in regards to that first question. And as we get to the bottom of players' overall wellness, we again also use this to dive into the importance or how our guys may feel about the project and its overall effectiveness amongst the team. In terms of the overall evaluation of this project, the overall success of this project has been extremely hard to evaluate, as the wins and losses throughout our program and our season do not necessarily define the culture that is within our locker room and amongst our players. So, with that, I, of course, am extremely grateful to Coach Crowell for allowing me to implement such a strenuous project throughout our season. And I truly look forward to seeing our culture continue to develop and the future on field success that may come with that. Thank you, and roll pride.